Good afternoon, members. It's 1:36 p.m. and I call this Ways and Means meeting to order. We do have a quorum to conduct today's business. And before us, we have the DFEMs and the team to present to the Ways and Means the needs and I guess the wants. Despite the budget cuts, we're here to listen and to get the critical requests needed for DFEMs. And with that, can I get a motion to adopt today's agenda? There has been a motion, has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Move along. We are in public comment. Is there anyone in the gallery that would like to make comments with regards to DFEMs and their budget request? Being there's none, may I call on the commissioner to step forward with a management team to I believe we have Miss Angel. Miss Angel, can you sit up here just in case we need some clarification? Yeah. I think we're gonna have to exclude Mr. Narita because they're kulangwa conflict, no? Since si Angel. Oh. Precinct 4 ni. Precinct 4 ni, no? No conflict in Precinct 4? Okay. And with that, thank you, Commissioner. I'll hand over the floor to you for your opening statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just give me a sec to prepare my PowerPoint. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and committee members. My name is Juan Pua. Thank you for giving us this opportunity for the budget hearing for DFEMs. Please allow us to present a short presentation from the department. Thank you. So that's our mission statement, is to preserve life, property, and the environment through decisive action, strong leadership, teamwork, and faithful community partners. We were created by Public Law 18-73 in 2015. So that's the total number of personnel across the CNMI. 114 from Saipan, 28 in Rhoda, and 22 in Tinian. So the department comprised of 5 divisions: Emergency Services, Fire Prevention and Arson Investigation, Emergency Medical Services, Logistical Support, Division of Administration. Each division is headed by an assistant chief who oversees all activities related to functions established or assigned under their respective command and control structure. We are NIMS compliance, and we are Pro Board certified, and we are gearing towards the National Registry certification. Let me just go over let me go back. Okay. So with the Public Law 18.73, it allows us to do the following. So we engage in fire prevention control, extinguishment of fire, and respond to emergencies where life, property, or environment is at risk. We provide emergency and non-emergency services. We conduct special operations that include search and rescue, hazardous material response, and wildland fire. We conduct fire code enforcement, arson investigation, conduct National Fire Protection Association training, and standards and certification through the National Board of Fire Service Qualification, Professional Qualification, which is the Pro Board. We conduct National EMS Education Training Standard and certification to the National Registries of EMTs. Reduce the risk, fire injuries, or death, and need for the EMS through effective public education and injury prevention program. We are linked between the community. They rate us based upon the service they receive. We wanted to give the citizens of the cinema the best services that we could with the limited resources we have. It is important to remember that we are called to intervene in an emergency, whether real or perceived. There's no difference. So the department structures and services, emergency services, they provide ambulance, fire suppression, vehicle extrication, search and rescue, hazmat, wildland firefighting, public and private outreach program. Division of Fire Prevention and Arson Investigation, they provide fire safety code, Fireworks Control Act, designated fire lane enforcement, and fire arson investigation. And they also provide public and private outreach program, and fire drills for the private and public schools, and the fire extinguisher training awareness. For the emergency medical services, they provide the emergency medical technician, the basic life support certification, that's every 2 years, patient treatment protocols, quality improvement, quality assurance, and within the division, they have the grants, which they handle the state fire capacity, the state fire cooperative, EMSC, and the NHTSA grant. Logistical support, they provide fleet, fire station maintenance, apparatus, and equipment purchasing, and inventory. And we also got some funding from CDBGR to help us to augment some of our equipment and emergency apparatuses. Administration, they take care of payroll, human resources, ambulance billing and collection, and administrative support. Our goal is to enhance our department's response capabilities in order to respond to emergencies whenever they occur 24/7, thus assuring our firefighters, residents, and visitors have adequate protection from fire and fire-related hazards and have adequate access to emergency medical services. If I'm not mistaken, Chairman, I believe you were provided a copy of our spending plan for the FY 2025. If I may, I want to go over our spending plan. Is that okay?
You still have the floor. Yes, you may.
Okay. Thank you. So our spending plan for our revolving account, the 1953, is to purchase 2 new rescue units for the north and south coverage, a total amount of $300,000 each. To continue to bring instructors from Guam every 2 years to recertify our CPR instructors at an amount of $3,000, and this is CNMI White. To purchase 14 automated external defibrillator for a total of $27,000, and this is for the CNMI defense. to maintain the classroom and psychomotor skills training at a total of $12,000. To pay for annual recurring contract services with Zoe data system to collect data for billing at the amount of $60,000 a month. To pay for annual recurring contract services with priority billing services to collect services rendered to Medicare and Medicaid insured patients, ranging to a total amount of ambulance transport per month at $35. To pay monthly professional services of DFEM's medical director, depending on the number of hours of services provided to the department, not more than 67 hours or $10,000 per month. To pay for the outreach program and promotional items for emergency medical services and emergency medical services for children campaign annually for a total amount of $10,000. To pay for operation and maintenance costs at a total of $654,000 annually, and general and supplies costs at $200,000. Now, for our 3563, which is the fire code revolving account, is to purchase one fire engine to strategically place in Susupi at a total of $700,000, not to include tools, appliances, nozzles, and equipment. To purchase a rapid response unit for code enforcement and fire investigation at a total amount of $200,000. To augment the fire and civilian employee salaries. To purchase firearms, ammunition, to maintain annually certification requirements and tactical skills proficiencies at a total of $20,000. To pay for fuel at a total amount of $17,000 a month. To pay for water and sewer at a total amount of $7,000 a month. Utility at $15,000 a month. Communication and internet costs at $5,000. To pay for outreach programs and promotional items for Fire Prevention Week annually campaign for a total of $15,000 CNMI-wide. And to maintain membership dues to maintain continuity of information sharing off and off-island enhancement training at a total of $55,000. This is last year's our statistics. So the fire incidents, we have a total of 712. Excuse me, Chairman. Dabi Baba, I don't put PowerPoint on my site. Okay. So it ranges from structure fires, trust fires, public service assistance. So it covers both emergencies and non-emergencies. Okay. I'm sorry. So for EMS response, we have a total of 5,560 annually. So we're averaging a call about 10 calls a day. Our enforcement, we have a total of 892 number of inspection, 258 new permits, and 631 renewal. Search and rescue, a total response of 5. Wildland fire, CNMI, we have a total of 33 wildland fire. We have 34.4 acres that were involved, and we used 23 gallons, 230 of water. 300,230 gallons of water. For Seaburn, we have a total of 11. Our community outreach program, So we do public and private school career week where our people goes out and do a presentation. We do have some station visitations. We just completed our EMSC Firefighters of the Year campaign. Fire Prevention Week is coming up on October. We're just waiting for the approval from the EMSC to do the community CPR awareness training. We collaborate with American Red Cross to do the free fire alarm installation to our community. We do fire, tsunami drills, fire extinguishers awareness training to all the public and private schools. We collaborate with the Homeland Security to go out and teach our community the community emergency response team. And we newly collaborate with NMC, and we assist in teaching the disaster preparedness and response initiatives and the disaster response advanced first aid. We are also involved with the Monamku Takeover Day, and we are involved with the 9/11 campaign annually. So these are our training from last year. So every 2 years, we are required to do our refresher training for the EMT and CPR. We have just completed our professional development with the assistance of OPM, Marianas Health Services, and the PSS system. We completed the EEOC training requirement from OPM and the EMS patient care treatment. We have the standing order for administration of Narcan for overdose patients, albuterol for asthma, and glucose for diabetic patients. And these are all distributed to the ambulance and the fire engine. We have assisted ARF with their hazmat awareness and operations training academy. Fire prevention and arson investigation personnel, we are doing their annual firearms recertification skills proficiencies. This is to include TNN and RODA. We have just completed the forestry pact test qualification and training. We are doing the in-service training every tour of duty for the shifts. We have just completed the certification and recertification for the child safety technician from NHTSA. And again, we are still recruiting instructors for the community emergency response team, as well as the NMC disaster preparedness and the disaster advanced first aid training. So these are some of our federal funding that we receive from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which is the Wildland Fire Cooperative Program at $30,000, the State Fire Capacity Program at $60,000, and the State Fire System Program at $118,000, which is a one-time grant. So with the grant that we received from the forestry, it augment our people, for us to outfit our people with the PPs to assist with the forestry forest fire, to pay for the training whenever the people from forestry comes here to do their recertification on that wildland fire training. We are pending for the NHTSA funding, and we're still waiting for their awards. We received $132,000 from the EMSC program, which assists us to do the annual the board members meeting annually, training, to purchase our medical equipment, medical supplies, and the e-books and e-cards for the CPR recertifications. So these are our accomplishments. So we have our self-contained breathing apparatus refilling station in Garfam Fire Station, which is with costs at $123,000. We outfitted our personnel, 158 personnel, with the PP from the CDBGR grant at NMHC at a total of $504,000. We got 4 jet skis from CDBGR. One is going to Tinan and Rhoda, and we have 2 all-terrain vehicle with a 55-gallon skid pump that will go to Rhoda and Tinan too. And this is for the wildland fire. So we've got 2 Chevrolet truck retrofit with 300-gallon water capacity to respond to wildland fire for Cagman and Cobreville. We have completed the phase 2 on the roof hardening for Susupe and Cagman Fire Station, and that's from the hazard mitigation funding. And it's about total of $5 million. No? Each? Not yet? Yeah. Okay. So we have completed a revised EMS patient treatment protocol. And with your blessing, that the passage of the House Bill 23-83, which we transition from the Uniform Fire Code to the International Fire Code, and we are aligned with the DPW building code. No. We have the electronic patient care report, tough book, which we distributed CNMI. Okay, this is to include our fire engine. We continue to meet our monthly payment for utility, water, sewer, fuel, and communication with the revolving account. We have purchased 2 new ambulances to replace the aging and unreliable units, which they're on their way. So these are our priorities. To purchase that 1 fire engine at a cost of $700,000, to purchase 2 new rescue rapid response units for Garapan and Cagman at $500,000 each. We're just waiting for the global hotel, right, Chiefs? For the development, development of Fire Station 6 in San Roque. And we will introduce the CNMI Next Generation 911 telecommunication system. We will apply for the assistance for firefighter grants, which will help us and other first responders obtain critical needed equipment, protective gear. If we can get a fire engine, an ambulance, training, and other resources necessary for protecting the public and emergency personnel from fire and related hazards. And we're going to apply for the SAFER grant, which will increase or maintain the number of trained frontline firefighters, and this will assist us to open up another academy. That's if we are granted with this federal grant. And we will apply for the TAP and MAP grant to also assist us to augment with our necessary PPEs and other equipment for the CNMI. The island of Saipan currently fits the criteria between high, medium hazard occupancies. The development of high-rise hotels and office buildings pushes us more to high hazard occupancies. So this is the National Fire Protection Association recommendation. So for high hazard occupancies, at least 4 pumpers, 2 ladder trucks, or combination apparatus with equivalent capacity. And I believe we haven't met that yet. So that is why it's very important that with your support, that, you know, to help us out to augment all those shortfalls that we have to assist us with our training, PPEs, and emergency apparatuses. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Pua, for the presentation. We have a lot of questions, but just let me recognize Miss Vicky gonna step in, or Miss Angels is fine. I think she got nervous because I said there was a conflict earlier, because they're really. I guess my first question, and I forgot to ask DPS yesterday because I didn't have my notes in line, but just maybe for OMB to I guess clarify some questions with regards to the overruns. The Secretary of Finance submitted report, and right now in the second quarter, the DFAMS is at a negative 439,000. So how is that gonna balance out? Are we using special funds moving forward, or I mean, how does that work now that like DPS at 500,000 at the end of the second quarter? I think we're hitting third quarter now. And obviously the majority is under the emergency services, and I'm assuming these are mostly payrolls.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, just like how I mentioned yesterday, with respect to the Department of Public Safety, DFAMS also is a recipient of that law enforcement grant. And I know that there is additional funding that's allocated to DFAMS for FY 2024, and it's about $182,669 that we need to process an expense transfer for cost to personnel. There's also funds for fuel and communication and their utilities. And I know that we have submitted a request already to the CIP program because they will process that request for the expense transfer. And that's coming up soon this month.
Okay, so the negative, it doesn't mean that someone's not gonna get paid, right? They're just accumulating it for now. OMB is just authorizing moving forward for the next 2 quarters. Any expense they need to, for example, purchase of fuel or for the uses of operation, it's not gonna be hampering their operation, because right now they're at a negative right now, and I'm assuming the special funds will kick in sometime, or the federal grants will kick in later on the year, and it hopefully balances out by the end of the year.
It will kick in sometime this month.
Okay.
The person that is going to process it has all the information already. We're just waiting for that to happen.
Okay, just so clarified. And yeah, that's pretty much my first question. I'm gonna open it up to the members so that I'll give everyone a chance to go one round, and then we'll come around the second round. So I'll open up the floor now to any member. Rep Flores.
Sure, why not? Hi, good evening. I'm sorry, good afternoon. I can't get my times in order here, but I do have some questions, and I do have some questions from last year that I didn't get to ask. So my first, you were talking about revolving funds earlier. How many current revolving funds do you have?
We have two, ma'am.
Two. Okay, so the ambulance fee revolving account, is that still active?
I'm sorry, correction on that. We have three.
Okay.
Three.
So ambulance fee revolving account, do you know how much is left in your account?
Yeah.
Not more?
Yeah.
Okay, and for this fiscal year, can you give me, and that's all for this fiscal year collected, no carryover?
As far as carryover, we're still pending some payments from, I believe it's Medicaid.
Medicaid?
At the same time, we are still receiving monthly billings,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not so efficient because it's just a new biller.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just pending, because they're just starting and because there's delay in actually putting them on contract, so it's a slow process.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, we just recently received $404,000.
When did you receive that?
That was just last month.
Okay. Go ahead.
That's it.
Okay. And your fire safety code revolving account.
Again, it's still active.
Mm-hmm.
There is funds in not more than 30,000.
30,000. And the fire lane revolving account.
Still active, but it's slowly moving, generating maybe about $500, $700.
Okay, so
Maybe
last
less.
okay, so last year, your ambulance free revolving account, you had 40,000. This year it's 500,000, so that's good. There's an increase. Your fire safety code revolving account was 32,000 last year when you were here for budget, and now you're at 404,000, so that's good. Fire lane revolving account, you're averaging about the same last year and this year, about $500 to $700. Is that right? On the fire lane,
Yeah, give or take, yes.
give or take. Okay. And then on your Medicaid reimbursements, how much are you anticipating to receive?
Right now, we're looking at probably not more than 300,000 pending.
Pending. Okay. Do you know when those funds should be drawn down and given to you? Anticipated month?
There's no specific dates as
Okay.
to when it will be available. As far as it being drawn down, it's all dependent into Medicaid.
Medicaid. Okay. Do you know how long the usual wait time is?
I believe it's dependent on the availability of funds on their end.
Okay.
Time range, I can't. It's pretty much unpredictable.
All right. So you can actually receive it in fiscal year 2025.
Give or take, yes.
Okay. How many? You have one commissioner, which is Mr. Pua. How many fire chiefs do you have?
So we have five.
So it stayed the same from last year?
So they are in charge of the 5 divisions.
Right. And how many in Road and Tinian? One each?
Yes, ma'am. One each.
And how many captains?
About 17?
Okay, so you went up from last year. Last year you had 15. So you hired
Still the
two.
same. Still the same. 15.
15?
Oh, still the
Okay.
same.
What about lieutenants?
Yeah, because of the one resigned, they decided to move on.
So 33 now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Firefighter 3s, how many do you have?
let me take a look at my list.
Okay.
Well, Madam Chair, Congresswoman, as of this moment, all pending of our personnel, it's more to decrease because there are some. But if you've seen from last year, personnel that you're looking at it right now, majority of our personnel is on the lower ranking that kind of resigned. So you've seen the figure. We can probably provide you with that,
Sure.
Madam, Congresswoman.
Okay,
Okay,
sure.
thank you.
And I assume that when you new hire, they're automatically going to go into civil service positions, correct?
Yes, yes.
All right. So now, how many civil service positions do you have currently?
For CNMI is 140. I'm sorry, SAPAN, 114.
CNMI wide,
164.
164. And then how many in Tinian? Okay, Saipan, how many?
114, 28 in Rhoda, 22 in Tinian.
20 in Rhoda, 22 in Tinian. And assuming like the same as DPS, the municipalities take care of the salaries of their designated firefighters, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I was looking at Public Law 1983, and I noticed that your fire cadet, the highest, what's the highest pay level they can be at? Pay level?
Pay level 8, step 1?
Yeah,
For cadet.
for cadets.
Cadet. I said cadet.
So
Okay.
they're at the minimum, and then when they graduate, it's
Yeah. It reflects to a firefighter 1 from cadets to firefighter 1.
Correct.
So,
Okay. So they're also included in this overtime scale. It's accrued into their base pay of $17,456.99, and then 106 hours overtime, which totals for their annual pay at $23,130. Right?
Not for cadets.
Not for cadets.
You're looking at firefighter 1
firefighter
and above.
1.
Okay. So when they transition over from
To
cadets
firefighter 1.
to firefighter 1,
Then they'll be
23,000 annual pay.
pretty much.
Okay. How many of your staff are on salary base? Do anyone gets, is there anyone on a salary base? And let me clarify that. Is everybody entitled to overtime?
From assistant fire chief down, yes.
yes.
And how many assistant fire chiefs do you have?
Currently on the list, we should have 4 and 1 acting.
Okay. And they all accrue OT.
No. They can though, but they're not only when there's an emergency, overtime will kick in.
Okay, so take me through that process. What constitutes an emergency?
When they get activated to a fire,
Okay.
or if they get activated to a mass casualty, or if they get activated to a natural disaster.
All right. And your captains, what's higher? Because in some areas of the world, the commissioner's higher than the chief is higher than commissioner. So what's higher with you guys?
It all depends to ma'am because of their anniversary where they when they get hired. So I think the step and the base are different because of when they were hired, and that's the difference. That's what make the difference, because some captain may have the same pay level, but some they don't because of their time service
Okay.
and their within grade increase.
Okay. Would you say that there is a degree of fairness as to who gets overtime and who picks and decides, or is that whoever is on schedule? How does that work?
Yes, that is correct. Whoever's assigned on the shift, pretty much they have the upper end of the opportunity to overtime because they are assigned to that specific division. And then there's our certain divisions that actually occur overtime based on the need of their tasks.
Okay. Mr. Mesa, I'm sorry, just last year you were the acting commissioner. What is your current position now?
I'm the acting chief of administration.
Okay. And are you in charge of, what is it that you're,
Admin,
Admin?
HR.
so you're human resource?
Yes.
Okay. Just I'm just updating my record. So I noticed just like DPS, at one point there was a disparity in salaries. DPS was very evident that there was a disparity in salaries. And the record I got actually shows some disparities too. So we have some who were fire cadets, graduated, and their pay scale is at 1, but their salary is over the pay scale of the not to exceed amount. How's that possible?
Well, it all depends on the anniversary date. Some anniversary date, when they actually get their WGI or there's a merit increase. Some actually miss the merit increase. Some actually get both. It's all dependent on which came first. So I got my WGI first, and then I get my merit increase. Then I would start seeing my steps go higher. Or if I get my WGI and my merit increase, and there's a reallocation, then you're going to see the salary differentiate.
Okay. And who selects, and what is this process through your merit increase?
Well, it's
How does
only
this work?
that's based on their evaluation on exceptional services. If they actually met the all 5 criteria of exceptional, then they are warrant to that merit increase.
Do you ever see a conflict?
Honestly, to my knowledge, no.
Never a conflict at all on merit and evaluations?
No, because the immediate supervisor is the one that are doing the evaluation for the personnel. We never, the command never get, we never take part of those. We gave the opportunity to our command, the captains and the lieutenant, to evaluate their own personnel because they're with them 24 hours.
For the whole
So-
year?
It could be the whole year. So when they come with their performance rating rate, they're the ones that are justifying the personnel.
Okay. And who signs off on these merits? Your HR or you?
Me,
Okay. And there's never a conflict?
no, ma'am.
Okay.
Can you elaborate more when you're referring to conflict? Conflict to what?
I'm just asking if there's any conflict. Obviously, this is a very small island, and there's other places in the government under the executive branch where you find relatives working with each other, and there's obviously going to be nepotism. So I'm asking if there's ever any conflict, and if your answer is no, and you're going to stand firm on that, then it's no.
Okay, thank you. And to answer your question as to fire crew supervisor, there's 19, there's 21 firefighter 1, 22 firefighter 2, and 14 firefighter 3, based on my count.
Okay. Can you, oh, that's okay. I have that. I have some of that information here. On your federal funds and your budgets, are all of your trips mandated?
Can you repeat that again, ma'am?
You guys get federal funds, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are all of your travels mandated?
For one, like for the EMS federal grant, it's mandated that they meet annually.
Okay.
Because it's part of the grantees meeting where they met and they discuss what are the accomplishment or achievement that they did and what are the challenges So that way, everybody in the same table, they share their challenges and accomplishments. So each other state can chip in and help other state if there's a gap in their state, they help them out how to better their EMS program, for example.
Okay. And what ranks in your departments attend this?
Whoever's in charge of the grant,
Okay.
those people that are in charge of some of the program, like for example, in the EMS grants, there's the pediatric side, the data side, which they collect all the data from our responses, and the state director attended.
Okay. Okay. Are these competitive? Do they request to go, or who selects?
So whoever is under that program, they go,
Okay.
that have a certain role for that federal grant.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Right now, I yield.
Thank you, Rep. Flores. So, on a follow-up question regarding the revolving accounts, how much is the annual collections for each respective accounts? I know it's a give or take.
For the law enforcement, the average monthly collections roughly about 30,000
Monthly?
monthly,
So,
almost 360,000 a year for the fire safety code. For the ambulance, if we're looking at our previous year's biller, we're looking at within a year maybe almost close to 900,000,
okay.
give or take.
And then the fire lane is roughly about 700 a month.
Yes, because currently, actually, we're still trying to perfect that contract.
Okay. What about the, you said that Medicaid owes you guys, correct?
Based on the submission on medical report, yes. Or
Okay, but you also said that there's a new billing company that's doing the billings for you guys?
yes,
How long has that contract been going?
we just recently started, and actually, it took almost 9 months to a year before we actually got it on board. So I was telling my deputy that we might lose some submission because of the 90-day period to submit for billing.
And that's my fear, because the encumbrance, when does Medicaid end their encumbrance? Is it fiscal year of September 30, or is it calendar year?
I honestly can't answer that question.
That's very important for you guys, because you guys are gonna lose the money. You can end up billing them, but if they don't make the payment within their calendar period or fiscal period, it's gonna affect you guys.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. No, Congressman, we'll definitely hit the pinch. We're gonna be seeing a hit of the pinch. Chief Mesa just mentioned that, a couple of weeks ago when he was telling me about it. Due to Medicaid, if the 90-day period comes in and we don't collect that, automatically we're gonna lose out. So we are anticipating for a loss revenue coming in from Medicaid.
But we shouldn't be talking here and be anticipating a loss when you know that the billing's there.
Well,
I understand that you guys are contracting a billing company. You already know that the service has been provided. Those documents should be readily available. If the billing company is not up to par, you should at least start sending those billings out.
Well, actually, that's not really the case. No, it should be the case,
Yeah.
but that's not transpired to be the case. Because when we start the new biller, it takes us almost a year to get that biller to be to get that contract, to start that contract. So that really puts us back with not going through to start the billing.
I do
No.
understand that, but when you guys pick up a passenger, in the ambulance, wouldn't you, when they do the paperwork with the family, because you guys don't just go drop them off at the hospital and leave, right?
Enggak, di nuncio.
No?
So, to answer your question, sir, we needed a certified license biller. We couldn't just bill them ourselves, and that's the reason why certain insurance company require that whoever's doing our billing are professionally licensed.
I do understand, but you can compare your billings with the hospital receiving the patients, correct? No, because you guys also bring the patients from the hospital to their homes in certain circumstances. Would it be possible to utilize the paper trail with the hospital to be able to at least get this process? I'm just worried that you guys are gonna lose a big chunk of money, because Medicaid is it's a funky situation. They'll show the billing and they know they have to pay within the fiscal year, and the transaction never happens. Then come the next fiscal year, they won't allow you to use they'll lose out the money from the previous fiscal year, and they're gonna encumber into the current fiscal year. So they would lose out. Let's say it's $1.5 million, and they receive 10 million. 1.5 is already lost for 25 when it should be billed for 24, and they had the money to pay for 24.
So, the experience that we went through or we had to foresee, it gives us an opportunity to see that this is a lessons learned, and we'll look into the avenue of how can we prevent further delays in payment. So that's one avenue we're looking at.
Okay. May I ask, with the I forget the Medicaid program. What was that program that they had that everybody qualified for? Presumptive. Was that fully paid to fire?
I would need to speak to our representative to get that further answers.
Because I mean, right? Everybody qualified for that, so nobody was already using Medicaid. They were just using the presumptive. So we have all this money under Medicaid. Maybe what we can do is transfer those funds to reimburse the presumptive care, so that they utilize the Medicaid funds. That would actually free up a lot of money for fire and even CHCC.
Yeah, because I do need to look into that, because I'm not too sure presumptive care actually covers ambulance fee. I'm only thinking that that's only covering the hospital end as far as being admitted. So I'll look into that.
Okay, and that's even more concerning, no? Because if it's only the hospital, imagine all the patients that you guys brought to the hospital were only calculated under presumptive care. So the Medicaid documents are not there. So you guys can't even go back to kind of track a payment plan or a paper trail from the hospital into your billing process. But another question is the San Roque fire station. What's the status of that? The delegation appropriated, I think it was, I forget what the amount was.
Yes, they appropriated funds for the actual blueprint.
Yes.
Unfortunately, because of the lack of skilled construction workers, that there was a delay not only in erecting the fire station, but also as far as getting the actual green light from the company to start.
Was there a contractual agreement between company and fire, though, as to when the building would have been completed?
Actual contract, as we speak, no. It was just a mutual agreement between the company, Public Lands, and DFEMS.
Okay. And Public Lands didn't penalize them for
I'm
not
too
completing
sure.
a contractual agreement? I mean, I'm just asking because fire should get a piece of that pie, right? Okay. Thank you. I yield my time. I recognize Rep. Manny Castro, please.
I said good morning earlier, but time flies up here, so I'm gonna correct that and say good afternoon, Commissioner, and to all your team that are up here today. I first want to thank you guys for your continued service to our community, and I mean that like wholeheartedly. I know there's a lot of things that the firefighters have to deal with, especially when it comes to budget shortfalls. At the same time, I also wanted to go back to, if you can go back to the slide where you were showing the accreditation aspect of defense. So it's nice to see FEMA up there and NIMS. Not a lot of people know about the NIMS component, but I know there's training coming up for that sometime this week. So feel free to reach out to Homeland. Pro Board certification. So I'm not a firefighter, obviously, but throughout my years working at NMC, I have access to all the training that the Fire and Police Academy have been through. And in my opinion, looking at the records that we have, like a lot of the content and the curriculum was a lot more stronger in earlier years of the Fire Academy. And in fact, I remember when that whole building V was full of police officers and firefighters at the college. Looking at the contact hours, the qualifications of the instructors, it's not the same story for the veterans and the ones coming in now. So, and with everything that's going on from the response rate, data and information doesn't lie. And there's also a difference that I wanted to say. It's difference between equality and equity. Right now, we're short one fire engine here. We used to have 3, like newer ones. One of those engines was sent to Rhoda, to my understanding. And don't get me wrong, my grandma's from Rhoda, my family's from Rhoda, and I support Rhoda and Tinian. However, we're short 2 engines. One engine, when that third one was supposed to be to help us respond faster. So again, I'm gonna go back to equality versus equity. Equity would have been maybe Rhoda applying for its own grant and getting its own engine, or even an ambulance, ambulance boat. Thinking of things like that. But it all comes down to accreditation. So Pro Board is nice, but I just want to pull up the difference. So Pro Board reviews agency certifications to ensure they meet national standards, fairness, validity, and security. So Pro Board essentially checks the agency's if the agency is conducting certification and doing it properly. And then on the other hand, CFAI accredits fire departments themselves. They assess the entire department's operations, including training, procedures, incident response, and basically checks if the fire department itself is functioning to a high standard. And then we're going to go into the other accrediting agency. You mentioned the National Registry, which focuses on certifying individual EMS personnel. It offers exams to assess the knowledge skills in various EMS provider levels, EMTs. And national certification is a prerequisite in getting licensed in most states. However, there's other accrediting agencies like the Commission on Accreditation of Ambulance Services, which focuses on the entire ambulance service agencies, evaluating agencies against standards for things like quality of care, personnel qualifications, vehicle maintenance, and accreditation signifies that the ambulance service meets a high standard of performance. So, education and training is everything. Commissioner Macronas came in here, and that was his wish list: is more training and education. However, I'm not saying this is the best or what I mentioned earlier, but just if the time comes to really evaluate and make sure that whether it's at NMC or it's through agencies, that we're getting the best provider in terms of training. And at the same time, also working with DPW and CUC and seeing how some of those funds can be synergized. So for example, in areas where there's a lot of fires frequently, maybe using federal funds to have a like a water line in that area, or where was the other one was also just the supply in general, because you can have a very fancy water truck, but if we still have problems with our supply, and that's really CUC and DPW that we need to get into. But going back to the training, earlier you mentioned ebooks for CPR certification. If you know, those trainings can actually be embedded into the Fire Academy, and you can use Title IV funding to pay for it if the program is designed correctly. So that way you don't have to worry about using your own department's funds. You can use things like the Pell Grant, SHEFA, CNMI. If the curriculum and the program is designed into an academic and career technical program. Okay, so just giving some food for thought to help you stretch the money and improve outcomes if possible. But again, thank you for your service.
May I know, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Congressman, for mentioning. But just for the record correction on the fire truck that was servicing that transferred down to the two municipalities, Tinian, to make that as a record, Tinian. And Zaweno no, Congressman, if you know mo, na emerging of no collaboration on different department, and hagu uli nang tungo amano na isinya man manyuli sa lapi pos gaube faisina judumo amano na isinya na juda I defense.
Okay, thank
No?
you.
Undanayam neno na hunto lo malago be faisino hagu tumungo afa na isinya that we can meet together to matachung the structure of the command and help us out. Not necessarily on the gizota regular no general fund, because I know the general fund is really, that's the bottom line that we're really scratching in right now. Lo, I applaud you guys, and I ask you guys all support Guinea. Let's join together the Malad on Ajudam. It is for our people. It's not for us. It's the needs that runs the department, but it's for us, for our community. So I like that one particular no na hunto no Congressman ipan sanganem tageno. Nangaya meno mano ni patasinya tatsuli sa lapi da bentatizia first time mana sinya tatsuli. Da Ajudam ini by faisal. Para dan todo samzo Ajudam. Ti para hamis ti para komunidad. Da hafay tining omizo genozong loke ning tingo mano na otso na sitbisyon sa lapi ni para tatsuli da painasisti masyati hami. Lo masya otso na agensia para otso na departamento. Por favor. So tunga na Mr. Chairman, I think it's hard for us, even si Vic here from OMB, they're scrambling. Lo, gi necesidad. I departamento, tinfafaisin para malago mami, infafaisin i necesidad. Ezo a ingagago. Ajudaham, you know, that's one area na sinya patafan manaligo, da pa inajudam. Por favor, ajudam neno, dan para turo samdo. Si Zeus Masi, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. And I look forward to working with you guys and using your technical expertise to help flow some of these initiatives. And again, thank you, Commissioner. Your door's always been open. Whenever I call, you're always there. So, Sidus Mosi.
Thank you, Rep Castro. Rep San Nicolas.
Yeah, Chairman, thank you very much. Commissioners, sus masi dan no dep. Lo naman matam do pa na daw ni pin mo lai no deputy. That's a straightforward answer to what the question is or was. No, este malago pa be faisin i departamento amzo na ni di maneanting i departamento ko guardon medyo statistic po siya ambulance runs, fire, grass fire and structure fire no response. Daging guaha na statistic daging sinyong sa nganizo pagu kwanto saipan gyalo on onyo ma respapan nisti na ambulances that no fire structure.
Ya dinansyaw no congressman dinansyaw na nangi za no hunggan gi takfina na hinigpenya si i-commissioner hunggan na langno sa nangi na kay gini na dani nga bontilo na anog gi litra ni kay gi lawgin i banda ni fire wa geno no de danino pay fire why ambulance run for entire road at sa tinian dan saipan manggaya turudo no sinya benayo neno na informasyon.
Dangkul na sumasi sa ano atan na personnel in percentage na no 100 some no saipan 28 luta dan 22 tinian. Kwanto na ambulance run dan kwanto na fire no response structure grass neg luta dan tinian gyalumon ani.
Hunggan sinya no benayo no congress bunti pagugo no generalized dia mention ni commissioner lo sinya benayo ginin luta na maisa lutan tinian benayo dan saipan na ginin matutuni ifisikat gi durante ni last budget hearing para esta pago na dia sinya no matsuli da nayo neno na informasyon no
esti mo na rason na mamaisin dun esti sa no bula loki no grass fire no tinian na man sedi dangin no fasti matoran no anglo gitano no dry season bula da titungo no luta titungo sa pan no
dinansyaw no
personnel na no pusta pa tinian esti ke find out quanto is statistic
Hunggan
sa pantinian dan lutang.
Hunggan za gipago wa na momento no congressman dan para tururo samdo gi members na no iningu ka no gi timan tiamam tatin ni malofan isti mumuzong gi gaseta na tiniana na maisay pa na maisa no 75 gezo na mes ezo lutan tinian pago na momento kumasoson as we speak now. Rota has been under a lot of brush fire and also tinian for the past week. So we intingwa nagwa mas pos dinadan siya no congressman i necesidad di papa manisisita loki los premios azudu lo i paronsuli kwanto no man kumason sinya ma provide zone ni unggan
danglo na susumasi de
ugago loki na tazuda loki tau papa no tinian zan luta sa no man gaigi loki na man kumasoson gipago na momento.
Absolutely. Susumasi na no deputy dan commissioner.
Yes. Unggan kay adzudo no listo si Chief Manny tuli tempo fa na ira go pigi papa gibandan medikat pad ini si kumason listo itaw-taw niya na manggayina para umufan na suporta papa ini itaw-taw ta.
Right on. No. Mr. Chairman, ayun.
Thank you, Rep. Nicholas. Rep. Flores.
Thank you. So, I'm looking at your rules and regulations, and in this provision, there's a provision here on fines and fees, 72-10-425. And there is all kinds of fines that you guys can be enforcing. My first question is, what division of DFEMS conducts these inspections for the licensures?
That's the fire prevention and arson investigation.
Fire prevention, okay. I'm sorry, go back, and how many of you guys in there?
There's 7 of them, ma'am.
7, okay. So, subsection 3107, fireworks control. There's a section here, B, prohibition. No fireworks as defined in this section shall be permitted for sale, possession, or use in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands unless, and I'll just go straight into it. Number 2, authorized for public or private display by permit by the Commissioner of Fire and Emergency Medical Services. The Commissioner of Fire and Emergency Medical Services is authorized to promulgate regulations and permitting processes. Okay. Then it says sale of fireworks. Selling of fireworks or firecrackers from any temporary stand located along any street, highway, right-of-way is prohibited in the Commonwealth. No roadside vending of fireworks or firecrackers shall be allowed in the Commonwealth. Okay. So you're familiar with that, right, sir? Okay. July 4th is coming up. And there's always X amount of vendors. Do you collect licenses for that?
Good afternoon, ma'am. In regards to the fireworks, there is a public law that was enacted in 2008. For some reason, there was no promulgated regulation. When they did that regulation that you are looking at, it was not included into that regulation, which is the Fireworks Control Act. So right now, as we speak, we are working on promulgating a regulation. The regulation of the fireworks that is included in that regulation doesn't really specify everything that what needs to be in that regulation. That regulation pretty much covers the fire safety code of the International Fire Safety Code.
Okay. I'm really more concerned about the fees that you guys can be collecting.
So the fee, when I first got assigned to this division, the regulation was already there. So when we decide to what do you call this, to amend the Public Law 11-56, which is the Sinamay Fire Safety Code, at the same time we are also working on the regulation.
So from Public Law 11-56 to the 23rd legislature now, no promulgation of rules has been updated since this here. So this is what you're currently using, but it's outdated because of the laws that passed.
It's not really outdated. It just needs to be amended.
Okay, so but the fees so far haven't changed.
No.
All right, so take me a little bit further. 1156 said you're going to promulgate rules. So right now, with Title 72 under the Department of Fire and Emergency Medical Services, under fireworks display, you charge for the license or for the permit $5,000. You don't do that anymore?
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
Okay.
For the Fireworks Control Act, it also requires consumers to be permitted.
Okay.
But right now we are not charging the consumers.
Because
Why?
why?
Because we're following that regulation, which is we need to update that
All
regulation.
right. So since Public Law 11-56, you have gone through how many commissioners, sir?
Good question. Yeah, for some reason, we found out that the Fireworks Control Act was enacted in 2008. That was 2020 when I found out that there's no regulation for the Fireworks Control Act.
Okay, now, because that's a problem and because that's a shortfall in the monies we can be receiving because of the current situation we're at, do you not see how imperative it is that because of 1156, the commissioner or DFEMS, I'm not going to blame anybody, but I'm saying as a team, you should have been working on promulgating these rules, correct?
I am already working with the regulation. I'm just waiting for the House Bill 23-82 to be enacted.
And which is the international code.
The Sinamay Fire Safety Code.
All right, but we're just talking, okay.
I
I'm
believe.
more concerned about the fees.
Say again.
I'm more concerned. I mean, if I can tally up all these permits that you can charge. I mean, you're talking about how many pages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5.
We are working on revising all those fees and fines.
Uh-huh.
Based on the law, fees goes to the revolving fund. Fines goes to the general funds.
Okay, well, we'll start on that when you
Yeah.
promulgate the rule, right? Then we can look and see how we can help you self-sustain your operation.
Correct.
But until that time, we're digging into air, basically. There's nothing because we have not promulgated rule. Therefore, your fees and fines are pretty much obsolete, maybe even moot at this point because certain laws, which Rep. Atal had mentioned yesterday with DPS, they had, they're working through promulgating and amending certain rules, but because of, I guess the term he used was the stone language, right? That has to be fixed so that you can use these fines and fees and start helping collect some money, okay?
Yes,
So-
ma'am. At this time, we are using that regulation,
Okay.
and we are following those fees and fines.
All right, so July 4th is coming up. There's always vendors selling fireworks. How much do you charge for a permit?
For permit, I can't remember, but I think there's 500, 720, and for retail, it specifies by retail, wholesale, and display.
Okay, so display, how much?
I don't have the paper with me. I didn't remember, but I know it's, I believe, 500 or
5,000.
no. It says
right?
this. No, that's 500.
Sir, I think I know where a comma is because I never hold this much money in my lifetime.
Let me check. I know it's not 5,000.
Unless my glasses are not telling me.
Hold on.
Okay, all right, so. Okay, well, I know.
I know
That's
for a
what I'm
fact it's
talking
not
about.
5,000.
Because I'm gonna get to this, and this is why I'm asking. It says fireworks display 5,000. So every year on July 4th, the mayor has a wonderful firework display that goes on for the CNMI population, for everybody to see and celebrate their liberation and freedom. Do you charge him a permit for the permit?
Not the mayor, but the distributor or whoever's conducting the fireworks.
Okay. Did you collect did you collect anything last year?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, how much?
I don't really remember, ma'am. I just need to look at the regulation.
Right.
I
And
don't
I'm-
remember every fees.
And that's okay. I'm trying to get to, and my point is, okay, I'm not trying to, argue with you and debate with you about your job. I'm sure you do your job very well, sir. I'm not here to criticize anyone's
Understood.
performance. You guys are all, you've worked very hard to be where you're at. My biggest concern, and just like you guys, is the funding. Either you're underfunded or we're never ever overfunded. It's always underfunded. But if we have rules and rules that promulgate how much you can sell your permits for, and these are extensive. I mean, you have, let's say right here, $10,000, highly toxic and toxic materials, ozone gas generators. I have no idea what that is.
Excuse me, ma'am. I
Yes.
think you're looking at the wrong. You're looking at the fines. Look at the fees. You're looking at the fines.
Okay. So, sir-
Citation.
right. Either way, you still collect, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
But
that's
what the 5,000 is the fine. What I'm talking about is the fee. So every display company, they pay 500. If you look at the fee schedule, you're looking at the fines.
Okay, you're right. And maybe this is something we need to look at because the fees is quite low too. Right?
Not sure, but that's what
That's a
it says
study
in the
that you
regulation.
guys would have to do, right? With
We'll look
collaborative
into it,
partners,
yeah.
thank you. But again, my biggest thing here is if the CNMI government is short on money and we have enforcement agencies such as yours then we need to start right now, at this very moment, start enforcing. It is crucial. And I tell this to everybody, because without enforcement, we have no money.
Exactly right. And safety, to ensure safeguarding the community.
Absolutely, sir. I agree with you.
Not just money, but the safety.
Right, but and that's exactly what I'm saying. We cannot just continue to talk about money, but in order for you to meet your mission, sir, to
Yes.
provide safety, it still boils down to funding.
Exactly.
Okay, but I get you. I'm not here to argue and debate about it. Like I said, I'm sure you do a great job, but please work with your commissioner, get these rules out, promulgate them fast, give them to the AG, let him sign off on it so we can start enforcing, because the money part is just as important. Otherwise, you guys can't travel. Uncle Sam might not even give us any more federal grants for all we know. And then what's going to happen? A lot of us probably won't even have jobs. I'm thinking about 10, 15 years down the line. I'm not
Yes.
thinking about tomorrow. So please, sir, Commissioner, I think it's very clear that that is your responsibility to promulgate those rules and update them.
Congresswoman, you're totally right, Dilancho. You hit the button. Any fines? I'm pretty sure na zangin gwa laksige no huzong vendors. Aligra, binaklaro Chief Stanley, make sure na fine siya. Zangin tinaga o hadi na vendor gino huzong 5,000 or 10,000 pos fine 10,000. Sa taza sa lapi niya legislatura na para tafan ma-profit sa lapi. Pwede na lang siya si Congresswoman pos no atsa kita geno.
We'll do that, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Idus masi.
So I'm sorry, I did not yield my time, but, sir?
Sorry, Congresswoman Law. You like I said, you hit the button that you're correct. If it takes these vendors to be fined, let's do it.
Yes, and I think Commissioner, 7 people under this department, with all the businesses and all of this in your rules, this is a ton load of fines, right? And with 7 people, I mean, they can't be out there all the time. Unless you want to start charging them overtime to go out and do that, then that's something that you guys would have to handle internally, right? We are not going to micromanage how you do stuff. However, enforcement right now, this day, is crucial. We need to enforce and collect when someone is not following the laws and following your rules that have been promulgated for you to collect on these fines.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Rep. Marissa. Anyone for the first round for Rep. Flores? Okay. Rep. Castro.
Just in line with the fines, because we all know we got to be business friendly, especially to the this economic times. We're trying to get more businesses to stay afloat. However, in business, there's also, it's unfair when other businesses are cheating the system. So we're not saying to fine the ones that are paying their taxes and following the rules, but when it comes down to those that are cheating the system, cheating you, cheating us, cheating our community, and breaking the law, fine them accordingly. Because it's not fair to the business owner that is doing their job and complying with the law. So, out there, a lot of times people say we're not pro-business. We are pro-business. A lot of the initiatives, the laws that we issued earlier this year or bills were designed to reduce some of this. There's some fines. Actually, there's some fees that need to drop. But there's also some fees that need to go up because it hasn't gone up in several years. And what's happening is a lot of these businesses, they're making millions, right? You have, not just in fire, but even in, let's say, the grocery store, secretary came out and was saying that there's a lot of businesses that are getting millions in food stamp, but their sales are not matching, but there's no enforcement. When we don't enforce, then it encourages people to break the law. And when they break the law, it hurts everybody. It hurts everybody from not just the government, but it hurts even the people buying their groceries, even the people trying to build a house. So that's the concept. And earlier, don't get me wrong, I fully support defense and everything, but given all the challenges that we have mentioned over the years, I think we need to look at the training that's being provided and also the accreditation. Because vehicle maintenance and all of that, it all synergizes. If we can train our departments to be able to maintain some of their vehicles, maybe some of that needs to go to Rhoda and Tinian because of the lack of mechanic shops there. But if we give more training to our personnel there, whether it be in fire or another government agency, so that we can do things in-house. Where this government over the years we've been contracting everything. Even the contractors, the construction companies are like, why are you guys contracting us for this? This is something your employees can do. But also utilize, for example, we see the inmates out there, the outreach program. I'm really satisfied with what they've been doing in some of these pavilions. They're cheaper than the contractors, but they also do a more quality job. And those are our people that are going to be out in the future. And if we can train them before they get released into the community, we feed 3 birds with 1 seed. So synergize as much as possible, especially now. But just back to that accreditation, that's gonna, those standards are gonna talk about salary, because there's complaints about salary. But maybe if, everybody knows the protocol, and if you look at the legislation, it's all piecemeal. We increase one group, but then how about the others? And this is not just speaking to defense. But if we have these standards in place and we actually follow them, it's going to be fair across the board. So people won't feel like there's discrepancies. So thank you for your time.
Did you want to respond from that, or
You, Chairman.
Commissioner, you want to respond, or
Thank you, Congressman, and like you say, we'll look at the advice from you. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Any further? Okay. Recognize the Vice Chair, Pato.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioner and team, good afternoon again, OMB. Thank you for joining us again this afternoon. Just a couple of questions on how much total in federal funds do you guys receive? Never mind. Total in federal funds and total in federal assistance. Meaning, I know that fire is, there's one entity in the scene of my fire is the entity that receives a lot of assistance from HUD, not just CDBG-DR, but the regular CDBG program. And that's everything, right? You guys qualify for everything from equipment to trucks, buildings as well.
Renovation.
PPEs. Did you guys apply for the 2025 cycle or 2024 cycle? Or are you approved for any? Shoot.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Vice and rest of your members. Yes, we did apply for 2025 for renovation, creation PP and tools and equipment for 600-some thousand. Hopefully, everything's gonna be okay, and once they review and hopefully good result, then we award it.
So you guys don't know that yet, no?
Not yet, not yet, sir.
Si Pogwi 24, quantum man manayam zo?
2024, so far we got about 650,000 with PPE, which is that's actually processed back in 2021 or 2022 for the PPE.
Okay. Isti list niya pasalista pa si commissioner. Guasya sinya kinover ni ji hot siya na salapi, no?
Yes.
No? There's and those are, I know that they purchased a fire truck. Was it for Tinian last year or the year before? Tinian got a fire truck?
No, it's here.
Gaigini?
Gini. Yes, sir.
Oh. And
No,
then-
it's a pumper truck, the red one.
Okay.
That's in
then
2022.
Then jet skis, no?
Yeah,
Then
yes,
ATV?
jet ski and UTV.
UTV. So some of this list that's I'm not gonna say you're a wish list, but it's a need for the department. Is this the list that's also going to NMHC for request of funding for those specific things?
No, Congressman. The one that I listed is the one that we got granted from CDBG or NMHC.
This application for the $600,000 is to address some of the list that's needed, correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm just worried here, Pogo, no? Let's say we're best case scenario, we have all the money in the world, and we're gonna give you the funding. It's not gonna be beneficial to you guys if we list it down, correct? Because it's only good for the fiscal year, no? So let's say the $600,000 is covered by NMHC to get certain things, equipment para amzo, no? Kasi sa lokpinin na amzo gaigi loki pa sa lista yuzo kumuntisina sola pe pamaman extra lo kumunesta satisfetso amzo ginin NMHC a lock sa lokpin. So we need some flexibility, no? And I believe that the next question, I guess, is are you in support in putting the same language as this fiscal year in allowing flexibility to utilize your revolving accounts? No?
Yes, no, Vice. We really need your guys, blessing on that to do the same as last fiscal year for the suspension of the revolving account to more flexibility
Yeah.
on
Okay.
what's this the operation that we are in now.
Okay. And that would help you guys. It'll help us. It'll help OMB. It'll help finance.
Exactly.
No?
Exactly.
Then on another note, obviously we were talking about the fireworks. I know that we need to revisit Lokizi 11-56 na law, no? Can we work with you guys to allow you guys through the law with the flexibility to implement these rules and regulations to best fit the emission statement in finance? I mean finance fire. No, I mean, we need to do that because si Congresswoman Marisa DPS ginigam, no? Mapareho sa namzo back then, you guys were under DPS. Ni ma-created si account ni judicial building fund account. Dos na lai, a resurface sa lakpi pas thousand ni money sa lakpi gato gi DPS. At that time, no way includes fire. Any corrections? Law enabling law niya, gogodi so we have to go back to the enabling law to give some flexibility, no? So we're gonna need that with you guys. I don't know if the enabling law of the Department of Fire needs to be amended to allow some flexibility.
Well, yeah,
when we
definitely,
separate.
Congressman. Congressman, no, especially on the revolving accounts, on some so tunga na ambulance fee and the prevention. There's a lot of restriction gi dunya no usage ne. But for the needs that we are into, we had that opportunity to have that from the previous years that you guys passed it. However, we want to request to include also personnel in there, in that flexibility. If it can be amended also, or have that flexibility to put that in the revolving.
For the revolving account, no.
For the revolving account.
Is the revolving account a universal language? Is it Planning and Budgeting Act?
Right.
No. So that's why we included that in this current fiscal year to allow up and down, no?
Right.
An operation.
Right, the flexibility, ne? Yeah.
Well, I wish we can just do it specifically just for an entity, no? No, thank you. Unfair sti para na government
Right,
agencies
right.
and departments.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, teniki commissioner ni kaya problema sa kita teki mo pi gobyerno sa appointed by the governor na gumagando sa gita guys on the flexibility, ne? And I don't think the administration would just allow that for one specific
Well,
entity.
the administration probably always comes back to us on the department level, ne? The linya, if you find the source of funding, another source of funding besides the regular appropriation, ne? And a source of funding, maybe it can have that leverage para.
And I agree. I
yeah.
agree. That's why we included that in the budget language for current
Yes.
24, no? And
Yeah.
we're gonna do that for 25. We just want to make sure that you guys are okay with.
Yes, we
with that.
really need your blessing on that.
And then we'll go back to the enabling law with the fire.
Yes, the 11.
1156, no?
Yes.
And then we can work on that. So at least that's probably 1156. Gosh, I get into my financial.
Tagwa man matay fanan no, Vice.
Wala matay lo galo kiti mafananyago ni. Lo, I think we need to revisit that. So at least guamas ni fin gizamzo ni. Sati unfortunately ilay gi guna malum gini tungan si assistant si deputy chief na kwani apratay politika sa matulay ka mafagasi pa pa yung
Aungan,
ni.
yeah. Pues ino alay no vice and members no gwago gamzo I kolonya di flexibility gi revolving na. Say that's where we actually having much of our operation no afaido no like gives mommy movement and some of the issue also get no fafashino put no personnel also to augment sa one manhudong we can probably tap that also for overtime gi the mommy gi personnel for special occasions. That como example, este pagi afay Congresswoman Marisa Sasangan put este July 4th or any special event for Christmas that we need to augment more of our personnel go out on the field to stabilize our communities and sa kaso afagwama society.
And that's where the flexibility on the regulations, no rules and regulations will allow you guys. That's why we'll go back to that at the very least. The defense law actually gives you a lot of flexibility in the rules and regulations law. It's afa pin-enforce siya, ne? That's the one that's kind of kula nagugod di did.
Right. Lo tang ginanaya medyo na flexibility siya mo sin pabingkad overtime na at least we can tap from there because what she's saying we can collect from there also.
Okay.
So we can have that two or one stone in two birds can bite that na daw pinino.
Por favor na tutunga mi transfers in transfers out. That's gini.
Hamzo no vice man midgod gini samzo tumungos te mano para nakalamting sa tazeng gagagaw hamzo ta noya ma giam gimano ni molik daydo ni ta tazo gagamzo noyam flexibility na ste mano ke na sinya mga lamting patazo da tawta. Eno gagamzo.
Pabiako Congressman G23-83. No, ista thank you for the House for passing that bill. We're just waiting for the Senate. So once that 23-83 law gonna move on it, then we're gonna look into that fees and then we'll, like you say, we'll right.
But in the meantime, no, before while that's still sitting in the Senate before it gets to the governor's desk, I would highly recommend that fire start working on the regulations. Say 90-day period talo, and then the whole posting and so if you can have it ready so that if it's signed into law, it's not ready for review. No?
Thank you.
I
will do that.
The regulation is ready.
Right on.
It's ready. It's ready for review by AG's office.
Okay. Thank you for that, and thank you, Chief Cabrera, with that stuff. I know that you're working.
Thank you, Lucky Vice and members, and your blessing for supporting the defense. We really appreciate. Thank you.
We'll do what we can, but for sure we're gonna help each other. No,
Yes, sir.
The
Yes, sir.
finance is to give this flexibility.
Yes,
The only
sir.
thing I ask you guys is also to provide financial transfers in, transfers out, again, in from you guys' end, so that go at least consistency sa kung talo this time next year, it's easier to kind of track, no? That we know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, and we can work on laws or whatever bills that need to address the weaknesses. No? Right on. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any Further, does anyone have questions with regards to the personnel and operations of DFAMS? Because we're almost oversighting them, but none. With that, I guess my concern is on the special fund. I know we budgeted an amount. We just want to make sure that those funds are there, ready if they need to use it, because they're obviously going to be short this fiscal year. So I do understand the I guess the ambulance fee. You're waiting for Medicaid and those other agencies to pay up, no, so that that budget of 2 million will be complete as a whole, and we're gonna look into the ambulance fee and how it can be restructured if personnel is not included there. I don't see personnel, so I'm not sure if the law says it exclude the personnel, and that's something that maybe OMB and I can work if there is a law that restricts personnel. But it allowed for professional services, so that's something we're gonna have to look at, and just to get a more, I guess, an update as to how fast the Medicaid pays the fees, no? Because at the end of the day, like what I mentioned earlier, the second quarters are negative already, so we're waiting for a lot of these funds to come in so that it doesn't hamper the operations of DFAMS. Personnel question, operation question. Okay. Rep Flores.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, just a last question. Can you give me a date as to when DFEMS had a desk audit?
We had one 2 years ago.
Okay, by OPM?
We had a subcontractor, and his name was Derek Sasanto.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rep Flores. Any other questions, comments, concern with regards to the personnel and operations of DFAMS? Okay. Being there's none, thank you, Commissioner Pua and team, for making yourself present. Like what I mentioned earlier, we'll clarify the revolving fund as to what it's allowed to do by law, and maybe something that Rep Atto can work with is amending a lot of those. So I'm gonna assign Rep Atto to do that. Other than that, thank you everyone for coming, and I'll hand back the floor back to you for any closing remarks if you have any.
Thank you, Chairman and committee members, for hearing our concerns. And like you said, we're gonna work together and with our team, and we're gonna seek for your assistance to for our department. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. I know I wrote something down, but the rescue boat, is it operational? Just
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there's how many?
We have two, but the other one is which is in the shop. But we have the rescue boat operation.
So the one in the shop needs a engine?
No, it needs
Structure?
General overall.
Yeah, general overall.
Okay, so it's not
That's the
engine.
fireboat, yeah.
Because Rep Atto's giving engines away, so we wanna make sure that.
Miss, can I say something?
Didn't we give one to Dylan R or? Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. So yeah, I just want to clarify that. I know I wrote it down somewhere, but thank you for that. Just want to make sure that those boats are in operation. And with that, thank you, Ms. Vicky and Ms. Angel, for making yourself present. Oh, let me yield to.
If I may, I would just like to say something real quick. Because of the fire department currently going through its struggles today, I would just like the legislature to understand that there are certain requirements the department needs to meet. A single dwelling firefighting structure fire requires 14 personnel. An open air strip requires 27 personnel. Apartment building on fire requires 27 personnel. High-rise building requires 21 personnel. We can only do so much with the current situation or the resources we have and our fiscal ability that allows us to do. We have already gone above and beyond. The answer should be no to do more with less. Doing more with less may work with other departments, but not fire. Fire is a task-driven department. The more tasks we are required to do, the more fires require us to be on the ground. The lives of our firefighters should come first, as well as the civilians that we provide the services that we swear oath to protect life and property or save life and property. So I'd like to ask the legislature or this panel to make sure that we maintain the current number of firefighters that we have, and if possible, maintain the hours that is required for us to make sure we man our operations, our apparatus, with the requirement personnel as needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mesa. Can we get that one in email? Chief, before you leave, can we get a copy of the PowerPoint, and maybe Mr. Mesa, can you submit that too so that we can have it on record?
Which?
The statement you read.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
so that
yes,
we can-
Congressman.
yeah. And any further? Thank you again, members, and Ms. Vicky and Ms. Angel, our staff, for making this budget hearing smooth. With that, I will now adjourn at 3:23 p.m. Thank you.